morning students, a very hearty welcome to GC Tech Hub CS tutorials. In today's class, we are going to see some application based questions in our revision series part 2. These are some questions which involve intricate use of for and while loops. So today we will be seeing some questions where we need to analyze a piece of code and check for certain things like how one code is different from the other code, where two codes look almost similar, and conversion of while loops to for loop code. So let's move on to our very first question today. So as you can see, the first question is here. What is the following code doing? What would it print for input as 3? So we have a code given here and we have to write its output as it has already been asked what it would print for input as 3. So we will start with n, the value of n. So n, already they have provided us the input, that is 3. So n is equal to 3. If n is less than 1, print invalid value. So we can see that n is not less than 1. Hence, we are going to, this condition will be false and this statement won't be executed, and the control will directly come to the else part. And within else part, it will come to the for loop for I in range 1 up to n plus 1. That means I will take up values from 1 to n plus 1, that is 3 plus 1, 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So when I is 1, the output printed would be I into I, that is 1 into 1, which is equal to 1. So as output, this would be printed, that is 1. And new line, because there is no end specified over here. Next is 2, so that will be 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4. So 4 will be printed, then a new line. Next is 3 multiplied by 3, so 3 threes are 9, so 9 will be printed. Then we have 4, so 4 multiplied by 4, 4 fours are 16, and hence 16 would be printed. So this would be the output of this code. So this is how we need to solve these questions. Let's now move on to the second question. Our next question is this. How are the following two code fragments different from one another? Also predict the output of the following code fragments. So now in this there is one mistake, which a printing mistake, that is else has to be over here, that is there is no indentation for else, which shows that it is a part of if. So in one of the codes, let's say code A, else is a part of for, and in the second code, that is code B, else is a part of if. Now we have to predict the difference in outputs of the two, how they are different. So in the first one, that is for else, sometimes in Python and in Python alone, else keyword can be used along with loops. Okay, for loops and while loops, whereas this is not allowed in other traditional programming languages. Normally, when a loop stops its execution, that is, it reaches its end point, then else part, whatever is in the else part, is executed, right? Whereas if in case of if statement, else is only executed when the condition with if is false. So let's see how we'll get a difference. So we will first execute code A. So n is given, they are asking for an integer, so we will take a very simple integer, that is 4. So if n is greater than 0, then we need to enter this part. So yes, n is greater than 0, and now inside we find a for loop. For a in range 1, comma n plus 1, that means a will take up values from 1 to n plus n, that is 4 plus 4, that is 8. So 1 to 8 values will be taken. So the values would be 1 to 7 actually. And what is to be printed? A divided by n divided by 2. Now n divided by 2 will be constant everywhere. So n divided by 2 can be written as 4 divided by 2, that is 2. And now let us write it. So a divided by n divided by 2. So at every stage 1 is being divided by 2. So it will give us 0.5. Then 2 divided by 2, which will give us 1.0, because we might have got here 2.0 as it is 4 divided by 2 and the result is always float. So we will get 2.0. So all the answers will be in float. So 3 divided by 2, we will get 1.5. 4 divided by 2, we will get 2.0. 5 divided by 2, we will get 2.5. 6 divided by 2, we will get 3.0, and 7 divided by 2, we will get 3.5. So our answers would be printed in this way: zero point 0.5, 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5, and now when the last point, that is when it has already completed the seventh iteration, when it reaches 8, at that time it will quickly, the program control will jump to the else part and it will print now quitting. So this is the output with the A part. Now we will see the output with the second part. Now in the second part, this else is a part of if. So first everything will run the same. That is, if n is greater than 0, yes it is greater. For A in range, the same statements are given. So we will get the same output. But this now quitting will not be printed here. Why? Because it is a part of if statement and it is executed only when the if condition is false. But the if condition was true here. That means these statements were executed. So this part won't be touched. Whereas in the first case, it was a part of for loop. Hence, once this for loop has completed all its iterations, then the statement within else will be executed. That is, in case we are not breaking in inside the for loop. Had it been that there had been any break statement inside for loop, then this statement wouldn't have been executed. Okay, because we were breaking in right in between, but here there is no break in, hence the control reaches else and it prints no, now quitting in first case. In the second case, now quitting will not be printed. So this was our second question. So you can get questions like these where you will get two very similar looking code and code fragments, and you have to figure out the difference between the two. Now the third question. Rewrite the following code fragments using for loop. So here we have to now convert these code fragments using for loop. And as you can see that already they have been written using the while loop. Now, while loop and for loop are two different types of loops, where while loop is an indefinite loop, uncertain loop, whereas for loop is a definite loop or a very certain loop, which runs for a fixed number of times. So in other programming languages, still we can eliminate the difference between while and for loop, but in Python we cannot do so, because for loop usually follows two variants, and one is for item in collection variant and other is for range. So here, most suitable, looking at the three codes, it would be suitable to use for range variant only, but there would be a subtle difference in this. So let's start with the very first piece of code here. So we have this code, the first piece of code, which is written using for loop, using while loop, and we have to convert it into for loop. So we can see I equals 100, which is the initialization statement. And then here you have the condition and here you have the update expression. So you can straightforwardly convert it like for I in range. So starting value is 100, ending value, now I should be greater than 0. That is, while I is greater than 0, these statements have to be executed. That is, value of 0 should not be included because it means I should be greater than equal to 1. Hence, we need to include 1 and exclude 0. So I can simply write 0 over here because this value will be excluded. and I minus equal to 3, that is I has to be reduced by a factor of 3. So our skip is minus 3 and print I. So this was a very simple example of conversion from while loop to for loop. Let's see the second one, which is a little tricky. Now here you have while num greater than 0. So this is where this loop is now an uncertain loop. Uncertain and indefinite. Okay. So here what do we need to do? Now because while num greater than 0, then print num and num has to be divided by 10. So this kind of an expression cannot be written for skip, because skip value is uses only we can specify an integer value there, which will only go only either increment by that value or decrement the value of loop control variable by that value. Okay, so we cannot use such an expression in case of this for loop, but in other programming languages we can do it. So how to solve this question such that this program gives us the correct output? So first we will write the code. So here num will obviously be asked from the user. So we will be writing it this way, that is for I in range, and here we can take the stop value as num. Let the start value be 0 and num will be exclusive. So we don't, there is not much role of this I loop control variable here. So after this we are going to print num mod 10, which will print the remainder, and we will write num equals num divided by 10, and if num is equal to 0, then we can simply break. So we have to add this over here. Now let us code it and check the output, or let's do the dry run and see the output, because we won't be having our Python idles at that time, because these questions shall be asked in the theory exam. So first we'll do the dry run for this part. While, so num is to be greater than 0. So we'll take num over here and let us take num as 4, and or we'll take num as 45, or 456 we'll take. Okay. So while num is greater than 0, print num mod 10. So here it will be giving us 6, and num equals num divided by 10. So that would be, now it would make num as 45, that is 45.0 it will be. And next time it will again check, it will go back and check is for 45, that is num greater than 0. Answer is yes. Again print its remainder. So now its remainder will be 5, and then again divided by 10, so it will be 4.0. It is still greater than 0, so again we can find out the remainder, which is 4. Now when we divide it, it will be 0. So when we go to the loop, it will execute. It will exit from the loop, and we get 4, 5, 6, 5 and 4. Let's do the dry run for this also. So for I in range 1, I in range 0 to num. So that means 0 to num is like, it is completely, you can just, it would be 0 to 455. So that has been taken, and skip is a factor of 1 only. So there is not much use for I over here. Then print num mod 10. So again, because num is still 456, so we'll take the value of num. It is still 456 only. Hence, what will be printed? The remainder, that is 6. And num divided by 10, so that becomes 45.0. If num is equal to 0, no, it is not, so break won't be executed. Now we move to the next iteration, and here num again divided will be divided by 10, and its remainder will be returned. So now the remainder will be 5, and num divided by 10, which is 4.0, still it is not equal to 0. That means this condition is false. So again we go to the next iteration of I. So right now I has 0, 1 and 2 iterations. So now it's going to the next iteration, that is the fourth iteration, and here it will be like if that 4.0 is there, so this will be printed, okay, and 4 will be printed and num will be divided by 10, so this will be 0.0 only, and here this condition will be true now. So inside the for loop itself, break statement will be executed, and hence our answer is the same. I doesn't have to reach 455. So we will just run the program and see. So now you can clearly see I have written it here, and we will check its output also. I had to make one change, that is instead of the division operator I had to use the float division operator, otherwise the number of iterations had increased. So I'm just going to run it and we'll be seeing. So we are getting 654 over here for the while loop variant, and now I will hide it and I will execute the for loop part, and you can see that here also we get the same output. So in these questions you have to keep in mind that the output should be the same. Now let us move on to the next and the last part. Now we have the third and the most critical of the three. So in this particular loop, you can see there are a lot many statements inside the while loop, and we have to convert this into for loop. So to understand this, we need to first do a dry run of this loop. Now before doing the dry run, let us fix some prerequisites. Like num has to be asked from the user. Okay. So we'll just fix a number. We'll just take a small number, that is 10. Then count plus equal to 1, sum plus equal to num. So we have to initialize these two variables by 0, so that it doesn't give us any kind of error during execution. So these are the statements which are already assumed that they are there. So kindly do not consider them to be any kind of mistake in the program, because these are just considered to be there. All you have to do, because you are only given a part of the code, not the entire code, and certain things you need to assume. And here we have num minus equal to 2, and here we have an if statement. So now we will just start with a dry run. So I will make some tables. I'll make a table which contains three values: num, count and sum. So initial values, num is 10 as asked from the user, count is 0 and sum is 0. Let's see the first iteration. So while num is greater than 0, yes, count plus equal to 1, that is count will be taking up, it will be incremented by 1. Sum plus equal to num, that is sum will now have 0 plus 10, that is it will be 10. And num minus equal to 2, so num will be decremented by 2. Now we will also check if count is greater. Now there are two exit points in this program. One is this exit point, exit 1. Second is this. So whichever is executed first, whichever is satisfied first, that exit point will be followed. So now it is 8. Now the value of num is 8. So again we go back, because this condition is false, hence these statements won't be executed. We'll again go back. Is num greater than 0? Yes. So again count will be incremented. Sum will also be sum plus num. So sum is 10. 10 plus 8, that is 18. And num will be again decremented by 2, so it becomes 6. If is num equal to 10? No. Again we go back. Is num equal to, if is count equal to 10? No. Is num greater than 0? Yes. So again count will be incremented, so it becomes 3. And sum will become what? It will become 18 plus 6, that is 24. And num becomes 4. And we check 3 is not equal to 10 yet. We'll check is num greater than 0? Yes. Again increment count. Now Again 24 plus 4, which will be 28, and num will be again decremented, so it becomes 2. Count is still not equal to 10, so but num is still greater than 0, so count will be incremented, it becomes 5, and we'll have 28 plus 2, which is equal to 30, and num will be decremented, it becomes 0 here. Count is still not equal to 10, but when we check the condition now, num is now not greater than 0, it is equal to 0, so exit point 1 will be followed. So this is where we are going to end, right? So these statements are not executed over here, so that's not a problem. We will be just checking whether we are getting these same values using for loop or not. So we have to convert this whole loop into for loop. So how to do that? So first these statements will be as it is and num will be asked from the user. Now here it is while num is greater than 0 and num minus equal to 2. So what we are going to do is we will take for I in range. Now we'll have to take I over here to represent num, because we cannot in for range function loop we cannot represent num and num, we cannot take num as the loop control variable. So we will assign the value num to I, and it has to, and as you can see, while num greater than equal to greater than 0, where 0 is exclusive, so we'll take it as the stop value. Start value of I is num, stop value is 0, and skip is already directly provided here, that is minus equal to 2, so we will simply write minus 2. Now we can write the statements as usual. Count plus equal to 1, sum plus equal to num, and num minus equal to 2 we don't need to write because that is already included here. And if this condition, print sum divided by float count and break. So this is what we have written over here, but here also we need to change, because here num was always getting updated itself. So sum plus equal to num. But here if we write num, num is not actually changing. What is changing? I. So instead of num, we will take the value I. Because in while loop we were changing the value of num within the loop body, but here num is not getting updated, rather I is the one which is getting updated. So here I will write sum plus equal to I. And now let us see the dry run for this. So we'll start with I and we'll just compare. So starting values are 10, 0 and 0, okay, and starting I, now instead of num we are going to take I. So I'm just going to remove this line, and let's take all the values and just check what they give us. So we are going to take I now, and it starts from num, that is 10, and count is 0 and sum is 0. So now count plus equal to 1, it is 1, sum plus equal to I, that is 10, and if count is equal to 10, so this is not true, so we'll go back, the value of I will be decremented by 2, so it will become 8 now. Now again count plus 1 and sum plus equal to I, so you can see it is proceeding almost in the same manner, and here also next value, that is 8, then 6, and we'll just do it quickly. So this will be 3, this will be 24, then the statement is count is still not equal to 10, but we'll go back is, and will now the skip statement will be executed, so it will be again 4, and 4 is not equal to 0, it is still greater than 0, yes, so we will again increment count which will become 4, and this will become 28, and then count is still not equal to 10, again minus 2 which will make it as 2, and it is still greater than 0, and then count will be incremented, sum will be written here, count is still not equal to 10, again minus 2, now it becomes 0. Now 0 is the stop condition. So now when we go back over here, you can see that it has taken the value 0, which will be, now this point, it is checking the condition, is I equal to 0? Yes, that means we need to exit over here. So this exit point is never followed. Instead, this exit point is followed. So the output is almost the same, only thing we had to make changes over here. Let us try this using some other value. So I have already written the code here. We'll just execute the code and try to see. So first we'll execute the code using while loop. We'll hide the for loop and let's now execute it. So enter a number, I'm entering 10. So we don't get any output here. So we can just add a statement to check the values. So here I'm just adding two statements to check the values. One is num, one is count, and one is sum. And the same I'm going to copy here and I'm going to just add this, and instead of num I will take I, which we will be seeing in the later phase. So 10, and you can see the values here, the same values which we had taken. That is, first it was 10, that is the value of num, and last till 0. So 8, 6, 4, 2 and 0. And from here it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 10, 18, 24, 28 and 30, which is the final value. Now let us check this for the other one also. So we will hide this while loop and we will unhide the for loop, and here we will execute it by 10, and here also we get the same set of values, but only thing is the values are different, because here right in the beginning in the while loop part we start getting the output from 8. Why? Because here already we are printing it after deducting the values. Okay. So if we just print it before num minus equal to 2, it would do our work. Whereas in this case, this minus 2 is executed. The skip statement is executed after the iteration of the loop, right? So if we just change the placement of this, that is, if we just change the placement here, where, because this is the update expression and update expression is supposed to be executed at the end of the iteration. Okay, so we are just keeping it at the end of the iteration, or we can also just keep it over here at the end, although it would not be much of a problem. So we just added the statement to check the values. So if you just check it, because technically in the for loop also the statements are executed after the update expression, the skip value, which is the update expression, it is executed after the iteration. So here also we have kept it after the iteration only, and let's check it out. So enter a number, so we are entering 10. Now you can see that we get the same value starting from 10, and here also if I just hide this, and if I unhide the for loop, here also I will get the same. So now we are getting the same value. So values are the same. Now what we need to do is let's check the answer for some, let's check the code for some larger value. And for this purpose, I'm just going to write this update expression after my count, or let it be this only. Okay. So we are just going to check, we are just going to enter 45, and you can see the last value is 36.0, and I'm just going to hide this and we will see it. And here also I'm going to enter 45 and last value is 36.0. And the values are also the same. As you can see, the table of values is also the same. So this is how we are going to change it. Now you won't be getting a Python idle during your theory exam, so you have to rely on your dry run, which I have already explained here. So just take a small value and check the loops, check the loop iterations, and check the values for each of the code. You should get the same output in both the cases. Only thing we just changed something over here. Instead of num, we have just replaced it by I, because we cannot change the value of num in this case. And this sum plus equal to num was also replaced by sum plus equal to I, which is actually the value of num only. Num is not changing itself, rather the changed values of num are being taken and used by I. Whereas here, because it's an indefinite loop, while loop, here we can do that very easily. So there is, by this, the difference between for loop and while loop should be clear to you. So students, this is how we solve such questions, and in these questions you need to first check the output. What is the output? How you can convert it? How you can convert it in such a way? So you will have to think about the logic of how I can convert it into the other loop, and check, do the dry run to check whether both of them are giving the same results or not. If both the code fragments give you approximately same results, your answer is acceptable. So this is the end of the class now. Please practice many such problems. In the next class, probably few more such type of questions I'll be giving you. So thank you everybody. See you again in the next class.